channel. Welcome back to another episode of The Biggest Transformation. We just finished up week 10 inside of the group. So far, up through last week, the group had lost 261.2 pounds in 9 weeks. And so we are about to jump on with the cast, get our weigh-in done. And I just gotta tell you, if you have missed any of the episodes of season 1, go back. I'll link the playlist down below in the description box. But it has been an inspiring, overcoming to watch these 7 people be committed and consistent through these last 10 weeks, and to watch the results, the wins that have been a result of their consistency has been just inspiring. Is the best way I can put it. And so let's go ahead and jump on, see how they did, see where their weight's at after 10 full weeks. We got a couple weeks left, and then we'll be crowning the season 1 winner of The Biggest Transformation. So let's jump on with the cast, get the weigh-ins done, and see how they did. Okay, what's going on today? Everyone ready to jump on the scale? Did you guys sweet talk this week? Did you make friends with it? Better behavior, I'm gonna beat you.
It was an up and down week. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But it's down. But it was like, I thought I was there, and then it went, but it's down.
I've been
Mine
flat
did too.
for the last 3 days.
The
So,
struggle with the scale, doesn't it like really feel real? Like you are in the struggle. Like, you ever watch like those tug of wars where like it's like the teams and they're like tug of warring with that big old rope? Some weeks, man, no, every week it feels like that dang tug of war. Like on your side a little bit, and then the other team pulls it back, and then you get it back. And
Even this morning, it's been fighting with
This
us.
morning we got on, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Then we got on again, and it was 1.4 pounds more. And I got on
Both
like
of us.
30 times trying to get it back down. I don't know what happened.
got our weigh-ins. I need, what are those little cha-cha things called? What are the
Morocco's.
Moroccos. I need some. We got the weigh-ins. We got the weigh-ins. La 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 la.
What you gonna do with that?
$216.5.
Jane.
$320.2.
Peggy.
Yes.
144.8.
I love the yes. Yep, I can see you, Denise. You are up, girl. Nine even. 205.4.
Yeah.
Good job. 3 pounds. Karen. Is that 172.4? Was that 172.4?
Yes. I went up 2 ounces.
Everybody just went, yes!
I know, right? I told you it's been a struggle this week.
All right. Sandy. He's like, come on, scale.
201.0.
201.0. I think it's safe to say you'll be in Wonderland next week, Andy. Okie dokie. After 10 weeks, 10 weeks. 10 weeks. This week, our leaderboard is as follows. In first place, with a total of 45.7 pounds lost, 17.7% of their body, still holding strong at first place, Karen.
Oh, no way.
What? Yay!
Wow. Yay is
Wait,
right.
what? Okay, yeah.
What?
Yeah, what?
Well, I know,
Way to go,
right?
Karen.
Thank you.
I
It
did
was
the
a
numbers and I
struggle.
was like, oh, wow, she held on to it. Second,
Good job.
49.6 pounds lost, 17.3%, 4.4 pounds this week. Andy,
Yay, Andy.
good job this week. Good job this week. 4.4.
Thanks.
You've been so consistent with losing, Andy. You've had a lot of big weeks. So
Mm,
last week was a little lower than you wanted, but you came back strong this week.
yeah.
In third place, 66.4 pounds lost, 2.8 week, 15.2% gone.
Gosh.
In fourth
Shame.
place, Peggy, 26.2 pounds lost, 11.4%, 0.8 pounds this week. Fifth place, Ashley, 30.8 pounds lost, 11.3%. So Peggy's 11.4, Ashley's 11.3. 3 pounds lost this week, though. Good job. She's like shaking her pencil at you, Peggy. In sixth place, Denise with 32.6 pounds lost, 10.8%, 2.6 pounds this week, even with the traveling, even with everything. Good job, Denise. Judy is 25.3 pounds lost, 8.8%, 2 pounds this week, which actually it was more this week because you had, whoopsie Sunday. So you were like, she was on a vengeance the rest of the week. She was like, that's it. The scale's up. I freaking did it. All right. Now I got to at least lose 2 pounds. So good job getting the weight, the little pop up off from the, whatever it was. And then an additional 2 pounds. So good job. In total, in the past 10 weeks, 276.6 pounds.
Mm.
176.6 pounds. That's an average of 27.6 pounds a week
Wow.
that you guys have lost. 27.6 divided. That's an average, if we just do averages, of 3.9 pounds per person per week. If we just take averages, strictly averages.
Wow.
Crazy. This week, what I want to talk to you guys about is I want to talk to you about clothing. I want to talk to you about, because I know most of you at this point are undergrowing some of your clothes. Some of your clothes that you were in when you started aren't, they might look like PJs on you. They might be a little big on you. Or some of you guys might be where I was when I started. My first 50 pounds didn't make a difference in my clothes because I had been overstretching my clothes for so long that when I started losing weight, they actually started fitting me correctly. Horrible. I thought my clothes were going to be so big right away, and they weren't. Like, I had to drop 50 pounds before my clothes actually started getting like really big on me. But anyway, but I want to talk to you about this because unknowingly, this is a place where people can self-sabotage or keep themselves stuck if they're not careful with this. So when you are undergrowing your clothes, you are getting into new sizes, clothes are looking different on you, clothes are looking better on you, all of the things, we can be tempted to go buy new stuff. You're able to shop in new stores, you're able to put on different sizes, and it's very thrilling and exciting and celebratory to go buy new clothes. However, you are simply passing through these sizes. I'm gonna steal Andy's line. Hi, bye. Hi, bye. So if you were in a 20 and you're now in an 18, you're saying hi-bye to that 18 because you're only stopping at the 18 for un momento. You're only stopping there for a moment and then you're moving on. And so it's really silly to go invest in size 18s because you're hi-bye, you're moving right along. You're only going to be there for a hot second. If you, whatever size is, you're going to pass a lot of sizes on the way to the goal. So to go to a store and buy anything off a rack is, it's not financially wise, but mentally, no. Like, I've never been a big Walmart shopper, especially with my underwear. Like, I like nice underwear. And so, but when I was losing weight, I went and found the cheapest bargain bin underwear I could find. And it would take me, like, I can remember going on a date with my husband and I had been putting off buying, undergarments. And we're walking through a store and I had a dress on and I had been wearing mostly like workout pants up to that point, yoga pants. And so I didn't realize how loose my underwear were. Here we are walking through the store. I'm in a dress and my underwear I'm having to hold them up through the dress because as I'm walking, they're falling down. And he's like, why are you walking so funny? I'm like, because my underwear is going to hit the ground if I don't hold them up. And he's like, well, let's go buy you underwear. And we went to buy underwear and I could not believe, even at places like JCPenney's, which I thought would be cheap, how expensive underwear was. And I can remember going to Walmart and I found some clearance underwear and I got like 12 pairs for $6. And I was like, yes, this will get me through to the next size because I was not going to stay there. So why am I going to go buy some fancy underwear for my behind I'm going to undergrow in a second? And so what you want to do with this part of your weight loss is you want to figure out, where are you going? Where is your final destination? And then set a budget. When I get there, what do I want to spend? Because most of you don't have that size in your closet. At least I didn't. I personally had never been where I wanted to go. So it's not like I had these old clothes of when I used to be there. No, I didn't at all. And so it was like, okay, my husband and I said, babe, when I get to my goal, can we have a budget of clothes? I'm going to need new clothes. And he's like, yes. And so we set aside this $5,000 budget for clothes when I got to my goal. And then he was like, and then you have $1,000 lingerie budget. So we had the $5,000 clothing budget, and then we had the $1,000 lingerie budget. And I was like, okay, I see you. And, it was something we both got excited about. We would, on date nights, look at lingerie. It created this whole thing. But anyway, my point is, I knew that when I got to this goal, I was going to be able to go buy clothing. And so that helped me throughout the journey of not being tempted to go buy clothes. Now, what I will recommend, I do recommend going in the store and trying on clothes. I do recommend that. However, leave your wallet in the car. Do not take your wallet in. The excitement of newer, skinnier clothes will overpower you sometimes if you have that option. So for me, we have an Old Navy not too far from where I live. And I can remember when I was losing weight, my kids would be in bed by 7:30. Old Navy didn't close till 9. So on a twice a month basis, I would go to Old Navy. I'd put the kids to bed. My husband was home working and I'd be like, all right, babe, I'm going to Old Navy. And at first he's like, why are you going to Old Navy? And I'm like, because I'm going to try on some jeans. I'm going to see if I went down at all. And I have so many screenshots in my phone. I would go get like the skinny jeans, this jeans, and I would just try things on in the dressing room. I would never buy a thing. I didn't take the only thing I took with me was my license. I didn't even trust myself to leave my credit card in the car. Because anyway, the excitement of skinny clothes for me anyway, my point is I have pictures of, and I would always take the picture of the tag. They always have the tag on the leg that said the size. I would take the picture of the thigh of what the size said because it was thrilling, but that kind of scratched my itch. That was like good enough for me, knowing I could still go try on the skinny clothes, the skinnier clothes, but I wasn't going to buy them. And so a lot of times what I see people doing is they're like, yeah, me and my girlfriend, we went shopping and we got this and this and this, or me and my daughter, we went shopping, or me and my mom, we went shopping. And every time I hear somebody say that that's losing weight, I literally am like, no, stop. Because so many times this is giving yourself permission to stop. It's giving yourself permission to stall. It's giving yourself permission to camp out where you're at. Because if you have the mindset of, I'm just passing through, I'm just going by, then who in the right mind would go spend a ton of money if you're literally doing a drive-by? If you're literally doing a hi-bye? You wouldn't. You wouldn't go spend all the money on the expensive jeans if you knew you were only stopping there for a brief moment. Yeah, one of your homework assignments this week is going to be figuring out, when you get to your goal, what is that shopping going to look like? Is it maybe if you gained weight, you still have all your old clothes and you don't need to go buy a whole new wardrobe because you have all these clothes. Maybe you've never been to the size you're going to, like I didn't. So what is that going to look like for you? What's going to be your budget? So this is going to need to be a conversation you have with your spouse. And listen, even if you're a dude, I'm telling you, I like to see, ask your wife, is there stuff you want me to wear? Like when my husband lost weight, I bought him like these little man short Speedos. And when we were in Hawaii, I was like, babe, can we do a photo shoot on the beach? And I wanted to get some photos. And then I created a pop socket on the back of my phone with my husband posing in his little Speedo boxers on the beach. And I turned it. So every time I look at my phone, I would see my husband in all of his glory. I mean, he had his little Speedo shorts on. But like for me, I was like, and for him, he kind of felt silly. But at the same time, I mean, what man doesn't want to know that their woman wants to take pictures of them on a beach in this little tiny elastic looking thing? And it wasn't like, it wasn't some thong. Although if it turned me on, he probably would have wore it. But it wasn't some thong. I didn't ask him to wear nothing ridiculous. But anyway, okay, I'm just going to stop talking about that before I go too far into the TMI. Anyway, my point is, talk to your spouse. This is a part of the vision board. This is a part of the vision that you've got to keep cultivating. You've got to keep digging into. What do I want to wear? What is that going to look like? You've got to keep looking forward. You've got to keep looking down the road, because sometimes it's so easy to get caught up in the struggle of the scale. Sometimes it's so easy to get caught up into just the everyday activity. And you guys are doing amazing on the activity. Like, really, I mean, y'all cracked me up with the treadmill, man. Something I never did. I did my workout and then I was done. Of course, it was like an hour a day back then, but I was like, I'm like done. I just can't even imagine doing what you guys are doing when you're like on the treadmill for an hour. I'm like, oh my gosh, it seriously cracks me the heck up. You guys are awesome. And so anyway, but continuing to cultivate the vision. The vision only turns into this giant, burning, unstoppable beast by you continuing to cultivate it, by you continuing to water it. So this week, I want to know, what does that budget look like? How much are you going to spend when you get to your goal? Where do you want to go? Where do you think you wanted to go shopping? Like, I had very specific places that I wanted to go shopping. I wanted to go shopping, as silly as it sounds, is at Forever 21. In the not plus size section, that's 1/20th of the store. I wanted to go in the giant 2-story Forever 21 and buy those teeny bopper clothes and wear that. I wanted to go into Express. I wanted to be able to go in. There were several stores that I wanted to shop in that I wasn't able to shop in that I wanted to go to. So are there any stores that you're like, yeah, I want to go shop there. I want to go do my Pretty Woman there. I don't know what you guys do. Maybe Shane, you do the Momoa. You do the Momoa. You want to go do the Momoa. Andy's going to go do the yacht thing. The rich yacht owner. Anyway. It has been easy that you thought was going to be hard. what has been easy on this journey that you thought was going to be hard? And I ask you that question because honestly, and you know, it's okay. Maybe you're like, nothing right now. Everything is hard for me. Or maybe there's some things that are easier than you thought they were going to be. For me personally, everybody when they see me after I had lost the weight, they're like, "Oh, it must have been so hard." And it was so funny because it was easier than I thought it was going to be. Like everything. And I in my mind had made it up like losing weight was an impossible thing because I had failed so many times. And so I want to know for you personally, what has been easier than you thought it was going to be? And so let me get over to you, Judy.
I never thought I would like to work out, and it's actually been easy for me. I get up and I do it just like brushing my teeth. Like it's in my schedule. And if I do my 2 workouts and they don't total 60 minutes, now I've added the treadmill to it. So that's easier than I thought. And drinking the water is easier than I thought. I have kind of a system with like this quart thing, and I make hot tea and then I pour it in cups. And if I tell myself, okay, I got to finish this by a certain time, it seems to work. And not giving up. Usually I would have bailed by now, 100% would have bailed, but I'm not giving up. And even if the scale is slower than shit, I'm not giving up.
I think
That's all I got.
That's awesome. You really have been a beast with the workouts. Let me just say, I've been like, some days I'm like, how is she fitting this in? Because you are so busy.
I sometimes I tell my girl at the front, I'm going to be an hour late, and we're connected. Some of us at work on our exercise ring. So they'll say, oh my God, you're my motivation. They'll say, I hit something. I said, if I don't make it to work, I've died. If you don't see me in 30 minutes.
Well, no, but so many people would use your schedule, the fact that you own a spa, the fact that you have employees, the fact that you have all this going on as an excuse that they can't get it done. And then you not only haven't used it as an excuse, but you've gone, the minimum was 30 minutes a day, 6 days a week. And you're now here, not even halfway through the 24 weeks, doing double that. Shane.
Hi.
Never shopping in my closet short. You're up.
Let's see. The thing I thought was going to be harder that turned out to be easy was probably eating vegetables. Instantly when we looked at the meal plans and everything, and I was like, oh, look at all those green containers. How am I going to eat that many vegetables in a day? Get used to it, and it becomes something that I actually like. I look in the fridge and I'm like, oh yeah, I can eat that and that and that. So that's simple answer. That's been probably the easiest thing for me.
That's awesome. I remember you not being so much of a vegetable guy.
No, definitely not. It's funny because growing up, my parents were both huge on vegetables. My dad, I always say he always grew up in a garden, is how it seemed like. Jen's parents, she grew up the same way, and Jen loves vegetables, and I've just resisted for most of my life. I'm finally arriving at the love for vegetables that I never thought I'd be at.
Oh, isn't that crazy how our taste buds can just kind of morph over time a little bit?
Yeah, that's been nuts.
All right, Peggy. What's been easier for you than you thought it was going to be? What's been easy that you thought was going to be hard?
Getting past plateaus. Good, because I would get stuck for a long time and then I just go up from there. I never got to a plateau and then went down. But this time I get to a plateau and because of this group and because of you and pushing us and getting my mindset, I just get past the plateau and then boom, it's like, yes, success. And then another plateau and then boom. So I didn't know, that was my biggest fear, was just getting stuck and getting past it.
Well, and I'm looking at your numbers. I mean, I know you're saying plateau because you've stayed at the weight a couple days, but you don't have 1 week where you haven't lost weight, girlfriend.
Yeah, but I've had like the whole entire week, I don't lose weight, and then I lose a little bit at the end. It's like, but I plateau like in my mind, like in the
Right.
past, I would get to a certain weight and then I would be like, oh, cool, I'm there, I'm gone, and then I'd go back up. So,
Well, and
but
that just speaks of your consistency throughout the week, because for you to start as close to your goal as you were, and then still you have not had a gain week yet, and your lowest you lost was a half a pound the entire
Yeah.
time. And then last week reaching your first goal and saying, yeah, but I'm going to go a little bit more. Done yet. You see these guns, they're going to get bigger.
yeah,
And so I think that's incredible. And, when you said plateau, I just wanted to clarify for everybody, because I understand for you, you're like, no, I stayed at this weight for 4 days or 5 days or 6 days, but you've really done incredible. And I love too, that even for some of the other people in this group, you've kind of been a forerunner. You kind of set the bar of no, even when you're getting down close to your goal, you can still lose. I mean, right now, Peggy, you're in 4th place for the biggest percentage of your body being lost. And so you've showed that even though you don't have as much to lose, you can still lose those same percentages. And so I just think that's amazing. And I love the example that you've set and how you've represented the group, the weight loss group that you've represented for people that don't have as much to lose. And so awesome job. As of this morning, you're 4.8 pounds away from your goal.
yeah.
So what has been easier than you thought? What has been easy that you thought was going to be hard?
I thought the travel, I thought the eating out, being invited out, being at my different people's homes or families' homes where they'd be serving desserts or they would be serving foods I couldn't have, I thought would probably be some of the hardest challenges, because those have always been sort of my setbacks in the past. I'd be really, really good. And then I'd go to some of these situations and then I'd be like, well, it's okay. It's just one night, or it's just one meal, or it's just one situation. But I've actually been able to stay on plan in every one of those situations. And each time I've had another invite, I've been able to just be like, I'm good. And they're like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't eat this in front of you. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, go ahead, you can have it. I'm good. And I've actually been good. Like, I haven't been tempted. Last night, I made a trifle for my son's birthday. I didn't have a bite of it. I didn't even lick my fingers making it. Everybody else around me was eating it. And I was like, enjoy. I got to weigh in tomorrow. So I'm good. But in the past, that would have been brutal for me. Absolutely brutal. So I've definitely found some of those situations getting easier each time. The resistance is building. And my husband too, I have a birthday thing planned for him tomorrow. We did our son's yesterday. And again, I told my daughter ahead of time, because she was asking me, what the plan was, with some of the stuff this week. And I said, myself personally, unless I get to my cheat, I said, I'm not having nothing. I'm not touching a thing of what I'm making. And again, I would not have felt that way. So yeah, I was determined this week to get into the 60s. So I was like, I'm not gonna do anything to sabotage that.
So awesome. There really is a thing to that momentum building and really getting more serious as you go. Awesome job. Awesome job.
And my husband, by the way, was, I can see it, honey. I can feel it, because he hasn't seen me in 2 weeks. So
That's
So that was
awesome.
pretty exciting that he could notice it in 2 weeks too, that my body is changing. So that made me feel really good.
All right, Ashley, what has been easier than you thought it was going to be? What has been easy that you thought was going to be hard?
I had to really think about this question because the truth is, it's the hardest I've ever worked. Usually I don't work this hard. So it's all been hard because I've actually done the work. So that was kind of a hard question for me. Usually I go for the quick and easy and then I'm out with a little bit of results, hit one roadblock, and I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm out. This one has been day in, day out, accountability, doing the hard, feeling the feels, getting feedback constantly. And I'm usually just someone who's like, when I've had enough, I'm like, bye, I don't need to do this. And like, I continue to show up every morning and work on the brain and work on the emotions and put them in their place. Receive, 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 grow, grow, grow. And not quit and still come the next morning with just as much fight. And I have shocked myself with consistency. I have never in my life been this consistent, ever. But it wasn't necessarily me. It was the fact that we're being held to so much accountability. If the accountability piece hadn't been here, I have thought about it so many times along the way. I'm like, I would have so quit by now. That goes through my head all the time. Like, if all the pieces that you've put in this weren't there, there are so many places I would have run so many times. So this just really works for me.
Well, and you're 5.6 pounds from Wonderland.
My goal this week was 204.8, and this morning, butt naked, I was 205, and I was like, dang it!
All right, Karen, what has been easy that you thought was going to be hard?
Two things. Water. Because I bought my gallon water, gosh, another time when we did it, and it wound up in my cupboard, pushed away, and this time I brought it out. But the thing with my water is I have always put something in my water to flavor it. And now, well, the last week and a half, I've had nothing in my water. So the fact that I'm drinking a gallon of water every day, and now it's just plain water, and I actually crave it. I'm not kidding you when I tell you I get up in the morning, I usually drink, well, I'm down to 3 p.m. already with my water intake. I'm just craving it. I've never craved it ever. And the other thing too is the no snacking. I have snacked all my life at night, and it doesn't bother me this time, which I'm so excited about, right? Because I used to be a smoker, so I would always smoke when I wanted something to eat. And then when I quit smoking, the snacking got even worse, especially at night, something to do with my hands. And it just became a habit. And so this time around, and I don't miss it. That's the great thing. I have my tea at night. And that is satisfying to me. I put a little bit of lemon in that. But other than that, yeah, I'm excited about that.
All right. Andy. All right, Mr. Andy.
Yay.
So what has been easier for you than you thought it was going to be? What's been easy that you thought was going to be hard?
Changing my diet. I like when I would go out to eat, I'm this kind of guy, like the waitress would come, like, I got a question, like, how big is it? I want to know, I want to get the most for my money. It's like the steak was little. No, I'm like, I'll pay more. I just need big, you know? So I was always concerned about how big my meals were going out. And yeah. And I look back, I'm like, this is like a 3,000 calorie dinner I ate, you know, back in, or more. So food was the biggest thing. And then actually have food and having an alcoholic drink or alcohol drink. Like I'd like a beer or two, sometimes three, like every day. Almost, yeah, pretty much every day. And I'm thinking, and I even got to the point where I'm thinking, am I like turning into an alcoholic here? Because I got to stop and I want to see what happens. Okay, so going back to it, both. Well, actually, the great thing was stopping drinking was easy, and I was worried about because I like, you know, you come home, you like to chill out. That was really easy. The food was a little harder, but not for that long. And now, I mean, when Peggy would make like turkey, ground turkey, something, I'm like, no, I want beef. You make your ground turkey tacos. I want my beef tacos. Now it's like we had hamburgers last night because the kids were over, but we got the extra lean and just had a hamburger plain with mustard, had some onions and stuff on it, and a salad with Skinny Girl balsamic, 5 calories per 2 tablespoons. And it was great. I mean, I would have never done, I would have had 2 hamburgers, big bun, lots of cheese, and everybody else was having that. And brats and hot, we had so much food, it was ridiculous. And I had one like 4-ounce hamburger, a salad, and that was it. And it wasn't hard. So that's the most amazing thing. I've been an eater, like working out. I've worked out a lot in the past. And I knew I could get back into working out, but I always overate my workouts. So I never overcame the eating part. So yeah, eating and not, and I think the attitude change also helps in not wanting to come home and have a drink. You know, when you're not feeling good about yourself, the drink, you know, you think helps. It really doesn't. But so those would be the two biggest areas that are, it's just not a problem. This has been because I used to like working out, so I yeah, muscle memory and all that came back quickly. The eating, I had no muscle memory on the eating. So yeah, so that's it for me. The eating is huge. You know, I love just the best tasting, but I'm finding out there's other stuff that tastes good. You don't have to have all that stuff.
You guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was putting my kitchen cabinets in and Peggy's like, did you see this picture of you putting the cabinets in? I'm like, oh my gosh. That was right before, that was just not long before we started this.
That's what I mean. Like, 10 weeks. It's nuts. Yeah. I was, when I said, hey, can you send me those? And you did, I was like, and I put them together and I was just like, wow. Like how not even the physical appearance, like you're not even that same person. Like
no.
Emotionally, any of it.
Now my kids were over last night. I work with my son, Andrew, every day. So we're outside, I'm cooking on the grill and he's like, I work with you, I'm around you all the time, but I'm having a hard time adjusting to this like new you. He's like, just everything. And I'm like, that's great. Yeah, get used to it.
We're here to stay.
All right. So we are coming into week 11. And my caution this week is to watch out for that little sneaky sucker called self-sabotage. Because in the home stretch is when that slimy little snake with the name self-sabotage starts to come in. It's where it pops its head up and it wants to remind you of the past. It wants you to remind you of all the times you've lost it and then gained it back. Self-sabotage is a sneaky suck that wants to come in at the most inopportune times. And it likes to come in when you're not looking for it. It likes to pop its head up when you are least expecting it. It likes to pop its head up when you think everything's going great and you think you're over it or above it or stronger than it. But most of us, if you look back at your track record, and if I were to say, have you ever self-sabotaged yourself? Have you ever dealt with self-sabotage? The answer for most of us is going to be heck yes. I could put both hands and both legs up for the amount of times that I've sabotaged something that was going great. And so I want you to be on the lookout for it. So that if it comes, if self-sabotage doesn't show up, great. But if self-sabotage comes knocking, that you're not laying flat on your back and then go, dang it, I self-sabotaged. That you don't get 20 yards down that road, 20 miles down that road before you recognize it. That you're already looking for it. Because when you're on the lookout for it, it can't stop you the same way. And so I want you to be just on the lookout. So that if self-sabotage decides to pop its ugly head up, that you would be wiser and you wouldn't be caught off guard. And so the thing I want to end with today is I want to talk just really briefly about a champion. And most of the time, our view of a champion is somebody who's on top, they've won, they're, whether it's a championship team, whether it's a championship fighter, a championship wrestler, somebody who's won the gold, somebody who's the best. And so often it's easy to look at a champion and say, well, yeah, of course they're happy. They just won. Anybody can be excited when the chips are up. Anybody can be excited when everything's going their way. That doesn't impress anybody. But what makes a champion is how is your attitude when things aren't going your way? How is your attitude when the scale pops up? How is your attitude when the world gave you lemons today or tomorrow or the next day? Is your attitude determined by what's going on around you, or are you in control of your attitude no matter what's going on? Because that's what makes the heart of a champion. And when you can have a heart of a champion, you will become a champion. And so I remember learning that when I was early in my 20s. And that was something that really profoundly impacted me, because I was one of those people that looked at champions and thought, well, of course they're in a good attitude. If I was a champion, then I would be like that too. No, I wouldn't have been, because I had a bad attitude on the way up. So I never would have gotten here because my bad attitude wouldn't have let me. You become a champion in here. I was a skinny, blonde-headed broad in here, long before my body lined up with that. I was at my goal in here, long before my body lined up with that. I had a good attitude even when the scale felt like it hated me. I became a champion in here and in here long before I won $106,000 for my weight loss transformation. That's all I'm going to say about that. So you get to determine what's in here and what's in here and what you choose on a daily basis. But just remember, if you're ever having a day or a week and you're like, well, if the thing ever comes out of your mouth or out of your mind of, well, I would have a good attitude if this happens. If you're waiting for one single act or one single thing to happen to you before you have a good attitude, that means you're letting external things be in control of you instead of you being in control of them. And that is no place or no way to live. 276.6 pounds. These 7 people have lost in the past 10 weeks. We have 2 weeks left before we get to our final weigh-in, before we crown season 1 winner of the biggest transformation. We are currently picking out our season 2. So you will start, when season 1 ends, you will start meeting the cast of season 2, see who they're gonna be. I'm so super duper excited for that. I really think season 2 is gonna be big, like the bigger, better, beyond version of season 1, because they get a mentor. And so if you have missed any of the episodes, the playlist for season 1 is below in the description box. If you have not smashed that like button, please make sure you do that before you leave today. Make sure to encourage the cast down below. Share this video. We live in a world that needs inspiration, and these 7 people are that. They are an inspiration. They are inspiring their own communities, their own families, and I know they are inspiring many of you watching. They are causing some of you to rethink that have given up and given in, that, hey, if they can do it, then so can I. They are causing some of you who are watching to actually believe in yourself again, and to know that there's more to life than what you've currently been living or what you've settled for, and that if they can do it, then you can do it too. So thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week with another episode of The Biggest